extra front-lining tool to use.
Yeah. But a brief fun fact about Sivir as well. In the last 24 hours, she has 3 pentakills. One in the LJL.
That's a lot of pentakills.
One, of course, in the LFL, knocking out Carmine Call from players out of EU Masters, and then one for Jackie Love over in the LPL. And it broke the longest League of Legends loss streak of all time, 0-39 for V3 Esports. Finally won a game this morning with this champion. Sivir is everywhere
So what I'm hearing is Sivir is just a very strong champion, and if you're talking about breaking loss streaks and being present in these big games, it's just one of these ones which you expect to pop off. And when we've seen it reach that late game, it has just chunked out damage. And what that means for both these teams is that we're probably looking towards those team fights. No surprise when you're looking at Astralis, no surprise when you're looking at Misfits either. I do think that these two teams are going to be butting heads in terms of those team fighting potentials. And what better way to really judge the better of these two teams on the day than going strength versus strength to potentially determine who is going to leapfrog the other one and keep themselves in the playoffs right.
So many standings implications for this last few days and weeks of games. Very tight standings, as we said. So many of these games today as well are against direct standings rivals.
Yes. Yeah,
One game apart for these two teams in particular right now. And you can see exactly what these last few picks will be. Astralis banning away a few potentially dangerous side laning options in the Akali and the Jax. Some of those more interesting supports away on the other side by Misfits Gaming.
It doesn't really surprise me to see some of those Gnar counters, quote-unquote, kind of banned away. Particularly, as we said, it is 12-14. Mini Gnar's had a couple of hits to their base HP. Ooh. And going straight down to the other side of the map, you've got the Gnar who's still trying to be plugged in as this safe, blind pickable top laner that allows you to throw resources bot lane if you think Gnar's going to be safe, and a Draven is a champion that thrives off of that attention.
Does indeed. Have to see what the support options are here with it, because Sivir is great if you can survive the lane and keep the shove up. Draven likes to, you know, not let that happen.
Very true. So we are probably looking for something that, of course, can start putting some kill threats on. Sejuani is going to be another frontliner. I'm actually really liking the safety that Misfits now have coming into the late game, because this Sivir is going to do all of your damage for you. You just need to make sure that there is a Poppy W one side, a Talia E the other, and a Sejuani somewhere in the mix, and Sivir can just put out the damage for you. Question is now, Astralis, what can you do with your last pick? I mean, we're going to go see a support traded here, and support counter matchup going to go towards Astralis, but it needs to be backline access. It needs to be something that can reach that Sivir, because I'm seriously worried for Astralis if they can't reach that Sivir.
Absolutely, and Kobe on this Draven. There's a lot of ways to kind of roam down and punish him right now. Jonghoon's pike being hovered. We saw the miracles he pulled on off before. The crowd are excited. It's a hover, guys. Wait for it.
We saw this combo earlier. We saw this combo in the LCK, I believe, and no, sorry, it was the LPL.
Okay.
And but this duo is really good at just looking at you level 1, dead in the eyes, and throws out the flag and says, "Come pick it up." Gauntlet's been thrown. 2v2. And spicy from Astralis.
Oh yeah, it is. And on the other side, you got the Talia and the Poppy, who just would love to go down and make sure that doesn't happen. So all eyes on bot lane. Surprise, surprise.
Of course, it's 12-14. We need to put their resources down towards. It is a kill onto chat sheet. It is a kill. Of course, Irrelevant picks that one up. But the question is actually, how much is this actually worth? You're still down 20 CS in the 2v2. You're being forced off of waves. You're being forced into a bad situation.
Here we go. They're managing to get the Ignite down. Mercer looking to be sacrificed to Kobe. The glorious execution needs one more attack. But Xerxes is the one that picks it up.
Again, while you have like the eye candy on top side, I think it is the right decision for Zans to just pick up the early option there towards top side. You are still in a very bad spot down towards this bot lane. I'm actually a little bit worried now for Misfits in terms of actually what can you do to bail out this Sivir. We were talking so much about, oh, it's Sivir, she's back, she's scaled, she's got 3 pentakills, ended the world record streak for losses.
Jonghoon and Xerxes don't seem to be done though. It'll be a 2v3 in the river. Smite fight comes through, but here's a Talia. Weaver's Wall to try and turn this one around, making this now a 4v3. Over the wall goes Mercer trying to get the Dayor. Shockwave used, Dayor got nowhere to go, and the clockwork winds down.
So Astralis actually biting off a little bit more than they can chew at that point. As much as they had the first move towards top lane and mid lane, because Jonghoon was separated from that lane, how much can they really continue here?
They're keeping to look forward, but they've missed out with the stun, so they're going to try and play this one out anyway. And just some trades back. Attempt there from Astralis to make something happen after the play went awry for them, but they're only going to control ward a little bit of a retreat.
So to kind of raid us back in, because while I was very impressed with Astralis and how they, got this kill bot side, and it's like, wow, cool, this Sivir is going to really struggle at this point. Yes, the Sivir is still very far behind in gold. We're going to keep tracking that. Misfits, have actually, of recent weeks as well, been having some good moments. And this one is an overestimation of how much damage Astralis have and underestimating how quickly Talia can join the fray. Level 6, of course, has the Weaver's Wall and just gets to be here. Add that utility. Deo is completely cut off at the pass, and Vetheo, so much to say about this player who had a wonderful now available for pretty much everyone on the board. You know, we're talking about those team fights. Round 1.
It's brewing here. Can they make it happen? Chachi on the side, nearly at Meganar, but will be shoved forwards and into the wall afterwards with a heroic charge. He's knocked up and knocked down. Chachi out, Glacial Prison afterwards, and Xerxes now has to back out best he can. Member down. Misfits managed to have the Herald reset on them, but should be able to secure this, and the Xerxes felt the need to go in, will instead retreat to his Krugs, and Misfits right now feel in command with a few thousand gold to their name.
And I know that Mininar is a little more squishy than it used to be, but I have to
Jonghoon.
Oh, gosh.
The Pike is about to find himself on the end of his Zenith Blade, but actually Kobe forced a flash out of Mercy, but now Kobe out of mana. The Blood Rush isn't going to matter. Zanzara knocks him down, and the stacks are down for the count.
And Astralis, it feels like they're miscalculating.
Keeper's verdict misses, though, and now actually Misfits a little bit pinned in place. Neon throws down. The spell shoveled into the wall is stunned. Zanzara, can they trade this one out? There's just not enough damage quite yet, and now the rest of Misfits are here and looking to fight. Kobe, stunned, has to cleanse Flash, and he's in trouble stalling the side of Chachi. Taken out by a Ricochet, and it's going to be a bounce house that Neon is winning. A shutdown, though, on the Zanzara is something, but can they sit down? The Sivir will get it, and Astralis still playing this one up best they can. Irrelevant, and Vetheo are still going to try and punish, though they are not done here. They refuse to lose, as Xerxes will be stopwatched away from killing off the Talia. Double to the mid laner of Misfits.
And you know what? As soon as we saw that approach to the Dragon, I was getting a little bit worried. I thought that Misfits...
Maybe 3? Okay. You get very worried.
Let's see with this brief pocket of vision, Astralis might be able to find a pick.
Then we're going to try and get this one down. There's surely a shutdown coming through, death from below. Jonghoon cashes in.
Okay, all right, that's important. It's extra gold on the table. Of course, reminder, this game is so important for both of these teams. Moments like that, lapses in concentration can mean so much, but Misfits on the hunt with the Sivir.
They will not let that kill go unpunished. Astralis in a 4v3 must fight somehow, some way, teleporting in, trying to survive, but already Dayor taken so low. Falls down to a final Ricochet. Chachi is here, but Jonghoon will burn down to irrelevant. Again, that name feels more and more like a complete joke as Chachi is wound away with the wall. May have a hop, may have a hope, but not enough quite yet. Meganar is just not enough. He falls down. Vetheo on a killing spree, and Misfits punish the temerity of Astralis for trying to take down one of their members.
With a hop, a skip, and a crunch. Find that now right back towards that death chamber. Got the Baron started up finally at this point. Misfits using that Sivir ult to great impact to catch Astralis out after they'd find their own pick. Xerxes around. Doesn't have a great way into the pit right now.
Must try to find something. He's got no blast cone, no ultimate, no flash. He's just going to stand here, unfortunately, and watch as the Baron falls down. Over the wall goes irrelevant. This Sejuani has done nothing but go forwards. A rampaging Freljordian warrior doing so much more. They get themselves the Baron. They'll get themselves out, and Misfits now. You can hear what the crowd wants.
Yeah, the crowd
see whether they'll allow it. It seems like Irrelevant feels the need. Dayor has to whack away. On comes the Whirling Death, but still Kobe yet to cash in. Zanzara murders out the Pike. Finally catches in, does Kobe. But I think it might be a little too late into this game. It's a 1-for-1 right now, but the inhibitor turret falls regardless.
Oh, they finally get a kill onto the Draver, but it's after so many deaths, and it's just not easy pickings for Astralis. They've been left trying to pick up the pieces of so much in this game. Couple of early look-ins, and it's just not really stabilized from Astralis outside of that point. As soon as Sivir got back on the board after some crafty play from Misfits getting the Sivir back into it, Astralis have struggled to adapt to this mid-game.
Soul Point is on the board here for Astralis, and looks like they're going to try and get to this before Misfits can reset and get out here, but they'll know it's happening because of that control ward just north on your screen. Neon and Mercer coming over. So I wonder whether Misfits are in position to punish nice and heavily. There's the teleport.
Okay, they don't have the Sejuani ult just yet. That's one of the primary engage tools down, nor do they have the solar flare. Question is, do they actually care?
Absolutely
no.
not.
Threat of those wallets, threat of just walking menacingly. Astralis enough to force them off. Astralis potentially could have found themselves a timing window, but it does feel like, as in most of this game, Misfits, even over the smallest windows, have managed to get the most out of these plays.
Let's have a look at this replay once again. It's a 1-for-1, but the tower falls, and still in the end, a Misfits win.
And that's actually really well played by Irrelevant. You can see where Dayor was positioning the ball. You can see that he's looking for that Miracle Shockwave. Irrelevant punishes him for walking up into that command attack distance and gets a very important initial pick. There is that turnaround, but I do really want to praise Irrelevant for that points to draw on the ultimate. Just playing the mind game against AR, knowing that the Orianna was looking for the big ultimate.
Reminder is, again, the standings are incredibly tight right now, and both these teams tied for 5th to 7th. Well, rather, sorry, 4th for Misfits with XL and G2, but Astralis just behind them here, 1 win behind. Misfits about to give themselves some space between themselves and their nearest opponents just out of playoffs.
And again, there are so many of these teams which are looking at these teams just below them with a bit of sweat on the brow. Nothing to do with the heat in Berlin right now. It is all about the pressure. It's all about the stakes. And again, while this game hasn't been the most explosive team fight affair, there has been a little bit of posturing between the two teams, a little bit of difficulty in committing to them. You can see both these teams are still looking nonetheless.
Here comes the keeper's verdict being spun around again, looking to see whether they can keep people away from the tower, and they do so just fine. Now the inhibitor is the one under siege. None of them have fallen quite yet, but I don't know whether Astralis have what it takes to prevent that from happening. Misfits now just rode over towards the mid lane, and Jonghoon, yes, he's trying to pull the wave away, but that's about all he can do right now.
Well, he's pulled them a couple of seconds to get back into position. It means that Misfits can't just walk from one plane to combo.
Flash cleanse down, Draven down to a 3rd. Jonghoon just being a menace. Nuisance on the side.
He's so fast, you know. He's got himself a flash still too, so he can get away from that steadfast presence. And as much as the crowd would like it, we are not fighting just yet. We are a very civilized community here at the LEC. We are civil.
I'm with you, crowd. You boo that. That's fine. I want some more action. Thank you. Hey!
No, no fighting. Hammer away.
And now the fight begins. The crowd will get what they asked for, and they asked for blood. Irrelevant gets a kill after Dayo. Jonghoon still hammering or haunting behind the scenes here, but just nothing to be done. Kobe gets a bit of a trade onto Zanzra, but inhibitor falls regardless. 1 remains in the top side, but it's unshielded by a tower, so maybe some damage here is shoved back is irrelevant, but he's just so tanky. The turnaround comes straight on through. That is a dead Chachi. Zanzra will follow up on the Solar Flare, and Cersei has to Heartbreaker away. Kobe, whirling death, just not enough, and Jonghoon, it just feels like there's nothing you can do right now on the pike.
And as soon as Misfits get this 5-man unit together, especially with the gold lead, it's so difficult for Astralis to find their target, find them. Oh, good flash away from Jonghoon, but you can see Astralis really struggling to land the hits.
It's a last dance, a last attempt to hold on to the base. They just can't quite make it work. Misfits looking to secure themselves that additional game win, looking to make sure the playoffs is theirs and not taken from their hands. A critical win against their nearest competitors will be theirs. Misfits move to 8 and 6.
Nexus finally